Good evening, good evening. What's up, everybody? Oh, cozy evening stream. Oh, had to deal with some things called life today. That was fun. But you know, stuff happens. But I told myself I was going to stream today and I was going to finish up this leveling, so here we are. Thank you to everybody who's here. Who's here? If you are in the chat, I appreciate you very much. And to anybody who's watching this later on, maybe, I appreciate you as well. But I'm pretty sure I made a promise to everybody in the last stream. Something about hitting level 80. We're only 5 levels away. So let's get it done. Hope everybody had a great day. Hope everybody got that one thing today that they wanted that made them feel really good. I am more than happy to report, verified this earlier today, the campaign is fixed. That means that we can finally finish our leveling journey. So I was thinking, to you lovely 3 people here, give you a little bit of a sneak peek or a surprise of something. Got a new video dropping tomorrow. It's going to be a simple one. It's a pretty short one. But it's going to set up something really big for my channel that I hope you guys are going to enjoy. I kind of teased in the last stream that I had some longer videos coming. I started finishing the scripts for those. Got some thumbnails made. And it's all coming together now. If anybody follows my Discord or my community page, you'll see that we also tease something really big coming in September. It's a new kind of video for the channel. Something I'm a little anxious about doing, but if it goes well, which I'm confident it's gonna go well, I think it'll roll some heads when you guys see it. And I hope that it becomes a very popular form of content on the channel. I'm really excited to share that with you guys. Besides that, though, how's everyone doing today, man? Just got back from doing some bowling. That was fun. Sometimes you just need to get away from everything, kick back. Bit more of a chill stream tonight. Only objective is getting to 80 really and just vibing out. Connecting with you guys a little more and yeah, just having some fun. If you're here for the first time, then this is a spoiler stream. We're going through the entire leveling campaign on the beta, so if you're somebody who likes to go in fresh on launch day, this might not be the stream for you. I also tend to kind of let my chat be the mixer. So if you guys think anything is like too chill or maybe not hype enough, let me know. Got a few different playlists set up. And they are all equally crazy. Don't worry. Tell you what, man, every time I'm in Hollow Fall, I love this zone. Giant crystal in the sky, the Nerubians, the airships. It just kind of encapsulates everything that everything that I love about this game kind of made into one. You've got these colossal, way too big structures that would never exist. You have the weird cosmic entity in the distance that's threatening everything. It brings that grounded and cosmic aspect together to create just this insane sense of immersion that I just love. You know, Chad, I was considering, just for the memes of it, because everybody seems to like to badger on it a little bit. Well, what do you guys think about some more leveling streams kind of on the side? Level some more Death Knights. You know, people have been saying that I got a few of those, and maybe fully embrace it. Never could have too much of a good thing, right? That's how the saying goes. Definitely think they adjusted these item levels. So I was not getting anywhere near Season 4 gear until like 78, 79 before. So it's good to see that they kind of bumped that. Kind of want to push you out of that gear a little bit faster, I think. Hey, what's up? You vibing in here? kind of probed this question last time, but in case I've got a new audience here, I figured I'll ask it again. What's your y'all? Yeah, that's English. What are y'all most excited for in War Within? Or if you haven't seen anything at all, what's your biggest question about War Within? Either one. Be happy to feed off that a little bit. You know, we're down to exactly 2 weeks before the expansion's early access release, and I think the hype's kind of starting to build up for most people. You guys have got to remind me every time I'm fighting. Got to stay on my mount. Biggest selling point of Riders of the Apocalypse is mounted combat. Got to use it more. Gotta say, evening stream is new to me. When you guys watch an evening stream, what are you kind of looking for? Looking for something to wind down for the day, or maybe something to keep you pumping, keep you going a little bit longer? Got them chill vibes, music going. Yeah, yeah. Just trying to kind of make a chill environment tonight. Trying to keep some conversation going, but you know, it is what it is. Mostly just making sure I keep my word on finishing this leveling stream. That's alright though, if people are in here just chilling, hanging out. I'm happy to be your hangout place. Leave it that way. No, I had some people give me advice sometime that the most important thing you can do on a stream is to keep talking. I think that only applies to people with soothing voices though. You're someone gritty like me sometimes and maybe it throws you off a little bit. I don't know. I'm just ranting at this point. Hino Scythe. I really hope I didn't butcher that. Thank you so much for subscribing. Heard that too. Always talk like you have an active chat. Yeah, that's a it's a lot easier said than done though. You know, I'm very familiar with talking to the voices in my head, but for some reason it's a lot harder when I actually want to do it. Sounded so much creepier than intended. Ooh, that is rough. So, there's been a known bug going around where quests will not reward all appearances for like all armor types, and everybody kind of assumed that was a bug. Blizzard just confirmed that that is as intended, and that's probably not going to go over too well. I imagine that's something that will go from a bug to a feature pretty quickly due to backlash. What do you think the best lore character is in WoW? Let's see here. It's a very loaded question. Going into the War Within, probably gonna have to keep it pretty generic and say Anduin. I feel like he's one of the only characters left in the game that we've seen a true start to finish character progression of. I just saw the Squally pet from pre-purchase as a quest. Yeah, you get 3 more pets from him. It's the same for the it's a Manduin now. Yeah. But no, I mean you started as this kid all the way back in Wrath of the Lich King, who was just, you know, he didn't really have anything of his own. He was kind of just following his dad around. And then Mist of Pandaria is when he kind of starts to come into his own and he starts to reject like his father's bad side. He was always the Peacebringer, right? Anduin is the guy who's always going to see the good side of things. I think that's why people are really thrown off in the War Within when he just can't do it. He cannot see the good side of anything. You know, he got dominated by the jailer. He had to betray everything that he thought he had built up, and now you're just left with this broken person. And I think a lot of people confuse that for him being a crybaby. But imagine if you got possessed and you effectively killed your entire family, and then after you were released, you had to question if you completely hated it. That's kind of what he's going through. He's at war with himself, not because of what happened, but because he doesn't know if what happened was bad or not. And I think kind of what the War Within is trying to establish to Anduin himself as a character is like, you know, yeah, what happened was bad, and I didn't want it to happen. And it's not necessarily that he enjoyed it, it was that he enjoyed not having to worry about his actions. He's been burdened with this weight of royalty and this weight of responsibility since he was a kid, and while under control, he had no responsibility. He was following in someone's footsteps. He was a follower. Anduin's never been a follower to anybody except his father. Ever since his father died, he has done nothing but lead with blind eyes. He didn't know how to be a leader. His father didn't teach him how to be a king. So imagine being thrust into that responsibility, then somebody comes along, and albeit forcefully or not, they take that responsibility away. You do some terrible things, you do some awful things, but at the same time, you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to bear the responsibility of anything. You were released from domination, and nobody blamed you. You got to do all these terrible things, and nobody blamed you. So I think to him, it's a matter of he might feel better if people were actually mad at him. Instead, he's at war with himself because he's going, well, maybe I want to be under control. Maybe I want to deal with these bad things more. Whereas I think his story throughout the War Within is going to be him realizing it's not what he thinks it is. It's not him accepting that he's a bad person. It's him realizing that good people do bad things and sometimes it's not their fault. And rather than just accept that and embrace that, I think he's going to have to turn that into courage. He's going to have to turn that into a way to become a better king. And ultimately, he will have to come back to Stormwind. So I think, overall, branching back to the original question, is, yes, I think Anduin is probably the best character in WoW. Just based off of the entire progression we have gotten to see for his character. I don't think any character has gotten as much love and attention as Anduin has, bar maybe Arthas or Garrosh, whose character arc we also got to fully see. But even they, I feel like, had a proper start and finish that was rushed, whereas Anduin, you can tell they have an arc plan for him. They plan to make him, honestly, kind of suffer in a sense. They don't want him going anywhere for a while. Yeah, love me some Anduin. I'm very excited to see what part he plays in the World Soul Saga. Distance from a hiding child, okay. Seems like they're drawing a line between Anduin and Arthas since he was dominated with his soul crystal thing. He definitely pointed his sword like the Lich King. Well, I don't know if you remember, actually. Sorry, lost my complete train of thought there. When Anduin breaks free of his domination magic, he actually calls out to Arthas. Arthas was in his sword. The jailer used Arthas' soul as the fuel for Shalamorn. And it's a double-edged sword, right? Because we got to see a dark side of Anduin and a progression of his character that made him lean more on his dark side. But we also saw the final death of what was still a redeemable character at that point. You could have found a way to bring Arthas back and give him a meaningful afterlife, and instead you used him as a gallon of gas. You used him as a plot device to forward Anduin, and while I love Anduin's progression and how far he's come, I thought using Arthas to do that was very upsetting. You know, taking a character with such importance to the Warcraft universe and just using him as a device for somebody else, it felt really bitter. It was bittersweet. You know, I know there's also the crowd of people who are like, you know, fuck Arthas. Arthas did everything wrong, but as they go on and as they tell more about Arthas, they really try to hammer home that, like, he was a bad guy, and I never really understood that. It seems like even Blizzard wants to believe that he was intended to be bad, but I would love to see some sort of alternate universe or some Draenor-like effect where we could have seen the king that Arthas was capable of being. You know, this was a dude that, for right or wrong, he drove himself to the ends of the earth to try to save his people. And ultimately ended up getting fucking tortured and changed because of it. I don't think that makes him an inherently bad person. I think that's somebody who is willing to throw away anything and everything to do the right thing. Always wanted to see him and Jaina get back together. Oh, God. Oh, for sure. Maybe they are trying to lead it towards how Arthas could have been type deal with Anduin. Arthas left the light and Anduin just lost it. That's a great comparison, actually. You know, I love that comparison. Anduin is the Arthas that came back. That might be a parallel that if they could officially draw that in some capacity and confirm that link, I would actually be really on board for that. Because right now, you're basically just seeing a mirror, right? We're seeing the exact timeline that happened with Arthas happen with Anduin. And if their goal is to just show a mirror of Arthas, but reversed, I would be totally down for that. It turns Anduin, albeit into a plot device, like I just said was bad, but I don't know. I feel like if they could formulate that in a way that doesn't disrespect either character further, I would be down to see them confirm that. You know, you could have... I mean, you could argue part of Arthas' soul is still in Anduin, because we know from Shadowlands that these souls can split fucking seamlessly. Uther was in like 3 pieces at that point. I mean, yeah, to turn Anduin into, you know, the Arthas that redeemed himself. You know, some people might shit on the story, but hey, it's better than the 3rd Windrunner sister getting another arc. Oh man, you want to hear another one? A friend of mine threw out this theory. Do you guys think there's any possibility that the World Soul Saga ends with us completely having to abandon Azeroth? You know, not necessarily Xal'atath wins or Ridicron wins, but something happens to the planet. Azeroth is born in some capacity, which we already know is going to happen. And planet gets fucked. Full escape. We board the Naru Exodar, and we just fucking dip. We gotta find a new planet. We've got to make a new home. You don't even gotta call it WoW 2. Just give us an expansion that completely starts us fresh. You know, no more separate factions. You have a single hub city. You have everything conjoined. It's just this one. It's a whole new world. I think Azeroth, while it's not getting, I don't think I'm exhausted of Azeroth. I think I'm exhausted of so many new lands when there really shouldn't be any at this point. We've seen so many undiscovered islands, which doesn't make sense when we have every means of transportation available now. How are we still not finding these things? Pandaria was hidden by magic and a moving turtle, right? Yeah, see, like, things like Pandaria make sense because there was a reason for the mist, you know. You can't see it because it's guarded by a shield. There was an ancient spell behind it. But things like Khazal-Gar, you know, it's out in the open. Literally nothing hiding it, nothing anything. We just go there. Kind of leads me to believe we knew it was there the whole time. In which case, for one, why didn't we go to it before? And for two, is the only significance of this place that Xal'atath is attached to it. Obviously, you have the Nerubians underground, but if we didn't have that connection, would this have just forever remained undiscovered? Was this just going to be a floating piece of land that we'd never cared about? Spooky dwarf land. And that's another thing too, you know, like obvious race expansions that you can give that people have been asking for. You could easily throw in ogres. You could easily throw in Naga. And honestly, on both of those fronts, I feel like there's a case to be made that both might happen in the next 3 expansions. But, you know, I feel like we've been saying that probably since we wanted them. So I don't know. It feels very, I guess, predictable nowadays, kind of. We're always going to find some new land. We're always going to find 4 new great zones. Oh, Big Sabes. You didn't have to do that, my friend. I appreciate it, though. Yeah, we're always going to find the cool new land. We're always going to find everything. And it's always going to perfectly line up somehow. There's never the surprise. There's never the, oh, this is just one giant fucking land. It's always split up. There's always different ecosystems. I feel like there's too much of a formula nowadays. I wouldn't mind playing as a Murloc. Fuck it, give Murlocs their own story relevance at this point. Storyline could be my character viciously grind killing them to get those damn eyes. You just play as a random Murloc from the perspective of one that needs to be killed for a quest. Top tipper, that's you, baby! There we go, finally done. Oh, we are in Ashkahet now. So now, if you guys remember my leveling guide, sorry, I took a bite, give me a second. If you guys remember my leveling guide, now we need to go back up through this beautiful hole, back to Hollowfall. We are done with Hollowfall's main story, which means now we must do everything that is not the main story. This will get us to a cozy 77, 78, and then we can blow through Ashkahet to get the rest to 80. Obviously, delves are going to be last, because the higher level we are, the higher XP that we get. And we do not want to waste that. They still did not fix the random normals for War Within. They are still not here. It is worrying. So close to launch. Click on this thing. This. Spam, spam, spammity, spam. We also have the added benefit of having extra quests because we have adventure mode unlocked, so that might skew a little bit. Because there's a lot of max level side quest chains that unlock the second time around while you're leveling. You can definitely throw a couple things off. Trying to do the ones that I just remember as kind of main, but I could mess up. This guy finally shows up. That's crazy. Do a quick reload to fix my controls. There we go. Fancy little renown icon there. Speaking of renown, if you guys are looking for top tier reputation guides for the War Within, Mr. GM has released some amazing ones. Highly recommend checking those out. Welcome to anybody coming in. Doing a more chillish stream today. Vibe and listening to some music. What would be end game item level for War Within? I don't know what you're talking about for like season 4, but for season 1 at least, I think top item level is 639. I can actually tell you. I don't know why I'm not just looking it up. Yeah, so Queen Ansurek drops 639, and obviously Myth goes all the way up to that as well. So that's kind of what you're looking at for the max item level. Now, if you're talking about what it'll be by the end of the expansion, is going to be up there, I'll tell you that. I would imagine probably close to 800, if not at 800. Probably imagine the 780 range, with us doing so many millions of damages that you probably can't even calculate. Think Legion and Mists of Pandaria numbers, but even higher. I definitely think the decision to not stat squish going into the War Within is an interesting one. And I hope they have a plan for the absurd amount of health and damage everything's going to have. Sorry, but I'm new to WoW, so expansions are broken into 4 seasons. Join at the end. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, first off, welcome. I think this is a great time to hop into WoW. This is the start of a huge 3 expansion saga. So story-wise, I don't think you'll be lost very much. But yeah, so typically in a World of Warcraft expansion, there will be 4 seasons. They'll roughly be about 5 months each, and they'll feature a raid each, and usually a new set of dungeons. And then the 4th season, we've been calling it a throwback season. They re-release all of the raids and all of the expansions dungeons, and they upscale them all to a new item level. This kind of gives them time to work on the new expansion while not having to develop anything new for the current one. And it also gives us a chance to relive everything from the expansion. In Dragonflight, they didn't really do anything special for it, but for Shadowlands, they did add affixes, just extra mechanics to the raids, which made them really cool. I'm level 70, I level 502. I don't know if I just try to push my item level further. You can, however, at this point, being 502, you're well past the pre-patch item level, and you're also probably not going to want to dive into Mythic Plus too much, with there only being 2 weeks left. So honestly, my best recommendation to you would be, if you have any alt you want to level or something else you might want to play for War Within, I would just level it. Being 502, you're going to be pretty fine leveling from 70 to 80. I wouldn't put too much pressure into gearing at this point, just because of how fast you're going to be replacing the gear. Now, if you were fresher or you were starting closer to that 450 range, I would encourage you to gear, but being 502, you're pretty much going to have to look at things like Heroic Awakened Raids or, you know, mid to high Mythic Plus to really see any noticeable upgrades at this point. No, it was a lot of blabbing at once, so I really hope that you understood that, and if not, I'm perfectly fine with elaborating, so please just don't hesitate to speak. Hell yeah. Did we turn it into this guy? Not sure. Don't remember. Oh no, we turned it over there. Okay. What's everybody playing for War Within? I'm sure nobody could ever guess what I'm playing, but I want to hear what you guys are doing. I understand, I just didn't want to struggle in my quest line because I have access to beta, but I don't know if I should try beta or focus on actual account. It's kind of up to how you like to enjoy the game. Being new to the game, I would understand if beta was kind of nerve-wracking, but with the point you're at currently in retail, being a new player, I don't think there would necessarily be an edge to you gearing anymore. If you're somebody that doesn't care about story spoilers or seeing content early, I think there might be an advantage to you jumping into the beta. At least doing the leveling plans, seeing, you know, if you're somebody that wants to level faster. But at the same time, I don't know. It's different for everybody. My recommendation to you would be focus on alts, focus on doing things that make you have fun with the game. Go collect some mounts, go do some world events. Have fun with the game the next 2 weeks. Have fun with the game all the time, but especially in these 2 weeks, Dragonflight is going to change drastically once War Within launches. Any content that people are doing now that you can get into a group and do, it's not going to be as readily available in 2 weeks. Everybody's going to be in Khazalgar and doing different things. So if you want to focus on your actual account, I would focus on doing things that you want to do in Dragonflight that you feel like you've maybe missed out on in the last 2 years. One of the prime examples for this is the Taven mount. It's a very beautiful Bakar dog mount. I feel like if you're somebody who's looking for something to do in Dragonflight that's not gearing over the next 2 weeks, maybe hunt after that. Hey, game time for gold will cost more or less when War Within starts. So typically when an expansion launches, the Race to World First guilds will buy hundreds of tokens at a time, causing the WoW token to plummet. So if you're looking to buy WoW tokens for game time, I heavily recommend waiting until about a week after the expansion launches, and usually they'll be at their lowest points then. I'm trying to get Obsidian Worldbreaker. Most of my friends have it, but is Black Auction House the only way? Yeah, so the Obsidian Worldbreaker was an anniversary mount that they added 1 year. And unfortunately, that was the only time that you could get it. You can still get it on the Black Market Auction House, but it usually goes for anywhere between 5 to 10 million gold on high pop realms. You can find it pretty cheap on low pop. I don't know what you're playing on. But if you want the Obsidian Worldbreaker, you are going to have to pay attention to that Black Market Auction House. I thought about returning for War Within, but I don't see a real reason to. Instead, I'll just watch you guys play. That's fine. Honestly, I understand a lot of people's skepticism on the game because of the last 3 expansions, but, you know, if you're somebody that's not really feeling it, just see how it plays out. Maybe a patch will come along, or they'll add a feature that you've been waiting for, and it'll bring you back. I don't think there's anything wrong with people who just watch from afar. Dalaran. Not sure. I'm not sure what the context of Dalaran is. Is there a way I can check, or is there somewhere people call out Black Auction House? I know TSM might have a feature for Black Market Auction House. I don't know if it's still fully functional. My recommendation, though, would be once a week, just go check the Black Market Auction House underneath Valdrakken, and, you know, just make a mental note of it. B-Sabes, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I believe it's once a week. Black Market Auction House is once a week or once every 3 days. I'm not sure. I don't really deal with the Black Market Auction House because I'm usually broke. So I'm not super keen on that. It's either once a week or once every 3 days. But yeah, I would recommend just going and checking it in person. I do not know of a reliable way to track it. Feels reminiscent of the Scarlet Crusade, just beating up a bunch of fucking monks. I have 2.6 mil because I started gold farming videos, kind of up to date. Nice, that's crazy. I've never had luck with gold farms, so as a new player having that much gold, I envy you. I really envy you. That is amazing to be able to stockpile that kind of gold, especially before an expansion launch. You will be well off with that. Poor little girl. She lost her parents because of the Kobus, so she asked us to beat up the Kobus for her. Obviously, we were going to help the little girl, and we were going to beat the shit out of them. I just realized my Spotify is not on the screen for you guys, is it? I'm so sorry. There you go. I don't know if anybody cares about the playlist, but I like to keep it up there if somebody likes a song. Sorry if this is a bad question to ask, but whenever I go to Valdrakken, I get flooded with selling raid or gold. Is there a way to block these kind of messages? You can't block the individual sellers. You'd have to do it to hundreds of them. What you can do, however, and I can actually show you, if you go to your general tab down here, that's kind of where all the flood will come from. You can right click on it, go to settings, and usually most people, if you go to channels, they're spamming this trade channel. That's the one that everybody uses. If you can, uncheck the trade channel, and it should completely get rid of it. Now, obviously, if you can't uncheck it, like I can't here, what I would also recommend is you can right click, create new window. You can just call it my window or whatever you want to call it. And then if you go into settings, if you go into settings, you can set your own channels. You can set it to whatever you would like it to be, and that kind of filters them out. Like I said, there's no way to really block them without blocking every single seller, and there's just way too many in the game to do that with. But that's kind of my recommendation if you're looking to get rid of them. There's just a lot of gold sellers, unfortunately. And no question is a bad question. Please don't ever let anybody tell you that any question is a bad question. If you are genuinely curious about something, it is not a bad question. I just left the trade channel. Don't know if I'll need it. I will tell you 9 times out of 10, you're not going to need it. Straight up. The trade channel, I have not seen a legitimate offer that did not involve real money transactions in many, many years. So I think you will be perfectly fine without it. Don't know if they got rid of it, but it used to be a chat filter add-on that you could have. It filters out posts with blocked words. I think there is something like that. I didn't know the exact name of it, so I wasn't going to recommend it. But yeah, I do think if you want to peruse through add-ons, I don't know if you know how to do that as a new player, but there should be some chat add-ons that you could throw in there. Little girl is wearing her father's helmet. It's a sad little quest line, but it's nice you get to help the little girl get some revenge. $77. We're getting there, lads. I will ask, since you're kind of a new player, what brought you to WoW? I don't hear very many players coming freshly nowadays. Recommended by a friend, or just thought it looked cool? I'm genuinely curious about the trade in this game because I did want a mount called the Time Reaver Drake, and I wanted to know from a person who has years of experience. So the Infinite Time Reaver is a mount that you can only get during time walking events. They happen about once a month. The next one looks like it's going to be on September 17th. So time walking, basically, it gives you an extra queue option where you can run some older expansion dungeons. It'll scale you down to that level, and you can run them for some current expansion gear. And every boss that you kill in a time walking dungeon has a chance to drop the Infinite Time Reaver mount. It is extremely low. I have about 5,000 kills, and I've never seen it. Some people get super lucky. It has less than a 1% drop, but if you're looking to get the Infinite Time Reaver, then my advice is during a time walking event, just spam as many time walking dungeons as you can. This week is Legion 2. Yeah, so if you're looking for that Infinite Time Reaver, queue for some Legion time walking. That's a great way to spend the next 2 weeks if you want. You can just grind that out. Now, I will say, you could grind it out for the next 2 weeks and still not see it, but if you're hunting for that mount specifically, there is an option. I do love seeing the Giga Chad time walking min-maxers. Yeah. There are some people that will make certain level characters and just deck them out in enchanted time walking gear. And they carry pretty hard. Want to see 3 legendaries and a random non-existent trinket combo? Right? How goes the journey, boss man? It goes well! It goes well. We are 77 now. 3 levels to go. Making good pace, too. How was your raid, sir? Locke here is a professional Cataclysm gamer. I was looking at sites like Boosters have the price. It's crazy. It's just me because I joined the game like World Breaker for $500. Yeah. Boosters will charge insane prices for anything. When they charge for things like black market auction houses, what you're paying for is for them to constantly monitor the black market auction house for the amount that you want. You're paying for them to cover the gold cost for it, and you're also paying for them to essentially take control of your account, transfer to that realm, buy the mount, and transfer back. So the cost kind of adds up, but it's really not worth it. Not to mention, any kind of account sharing, any kind of RMT that you do, you have a very high chance of getting banned. I would not recommend it in any capacity. Just don't mess around with that stuff. There's no reason to do it. It's not worth it. That is my recommendation there. Is the gold legit or dirty gold? Just wondering because I see people sell gold. So most gold that you can buy is dirty gold. It has been either stolen from people, scammed from people, WoW token manipulation. And the only form of gold buying that you should ever go through is WoW tokens. Anything outside of WoW tokens, it's a bannable offense, and it's not going to be clean money. You have chances of getting scammed. You have chances of getting reported. It's just anything, any purchasable item or currency outside of the in-game WoW shop, you just shouldn't go through. You shouldn't even look at. I do roll on gear and raids and see people offer me gold items. That's fine. So any kind of like in-game exchange is fine. Like if you roll a piece of gear, you get it, and somebody says, "Hey man, I'll give you 100k if you give me that piece." That's perfectly fine. That's just an exchange of goods in the game. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem comes into the equation when real money is involved. So the thing of the matter is, say you looted that piece of gear and somebody goes, "Hey man, I'll give you 15 bucks for that." That becomes a real money transaction, and that is bannable, and both of you can get banned for that. Have you tried Dual Wield Frost? So much fun. I have tried Dual Wield Frost, actually. It's what I played for Season 4 of Dragonflight and for Mop Remix. Previously, I was Unholy only for the last, 13, 14 years. But for War Within, I'm kind of trying to pick up Frost a little bit, and, you know, Frost feels pretty fun. I think it'll be a tight race between Frost and Unholy and War Within, but I am excited to say that I can play both. Do you have Warglaives of Azeroth or Thunder Fury? I do not, unfortunately. Yeah, I've been Unholy for the longest time. Feels good to try something different. I completely agree. I'll be honest, I was a bit of a Frost hater for the last couple expansions. For various reasons. A stupid one is actually I just didn't want to have to farm for 2 weapons. But once I got past that and just kind of started playing it, I feel like it's a very smooth rotation. And I'm pretty stoked to play it. I'm kind of going to try to branch out and try all the specs in War Within, so I think it'll go well. I saw people make parties for Molten Core. Why? Because I can just solo it to see what I get for the week. So It depends what you're looking for. Molten Core just released on Classic Season of Discovery Realms, and it's fresh content. So when you're seeing people making groups for Molten Core, it might be them advertising for a Molten Core group on Classic. That's what kind of makes it confusing. We have 3 constantly going versions of WoW at all times. 4 actually, if you count Classic Era. And it can be really confusing. So people talking about Molten Core on retail probably aren't talking about the current game. They're probably talking about Season of Discovery. Sorry, so let me try and break it down easily. So there is 4 versions of World of Warcraft. There's World of Warcraft Dragonflight, which you're playing now. There is World of Warcraft Classic, which is currently on Cataclysm. This was launched back in 2019, and they basically released a fresh server that starts from the beginning of WoW. They also have Classic Season of Discovery, which is the original vanilla game with new changes. That version of the game just had Molten Core released a few days ago. So people that are making groups for Molten Core are probably playing that version. So if you're seeing people advertising Molten Core, it's not for Dragonflight, it's for Season of Discovery. Your World of Warcraft subscription gets you access to every version of WoW, and it gets really confusing when talking about it because there is 4 versions of WoW always going. And I really hope that I explained that correctly, because it is really confusing to try and explain how much WoW. Shouldn't I start there fresh, or is it full tryhard and no newbie? Personally, it all depends on who you play with, but for the most part, the Cataclysm Classic and Classic Season of Discovery community is a lot more serious and elitist than Dragonflight's is. There are people that went back there to kind of rekindle an experience that they used to have, and they are far less forgiving of new players. That's not to say that you shouldn't play it. There is some astounding content, and there's some really cool things that you can see. You can kind of relive how WoW used to be. But if you're somebody who's going there looking to do endgame content, you will struggle arguably more than you should, unfortunately, because of the people. Also, I should note that progress is not shared between the different versions of WoW. So if you do something in Classic, you will not see it on Dragonflight. They don't work with each other. Demon Hunter is not there. So if you're playing Season of Discovery, you'll have every class except for Evoker, Death Knight, Demon Hunter, and Monk. You'll also have way less races. You will only have 5 core races. I do deeply apologize, friends. I need to use the facilities real quick, so I will be right back. I'm so sorry about that, chat. We are back. Alright. Do some delves. If anybody remembers the leveling guide, delves are the last thing we do in a zone. So we're going to do all these, then we're going to go back to Hollowfall. Somebody gave a really good comparison for delves the other day. It's kind of like a grounded Torghast. And why I like that they said that was because you don't get the anima powers, you don't get the extra boosts, but you do get the kind of feel of the scaling dungeon, the infinite unwinding dungeon, but it has a definitive end, and there's tiers instead of layers. So in the same way, it's a better Torghast, I guess you could just call it. At least it's how I see it. Is that how it works? Okay. Kind of draws their attention in. I don't know what that echo cast is, but I don't want to see it. A Culturando. Thank you so much for the subscription. Oh, oh, whoa. Interesting. I did not expect another boss to spawn. It did motion me down there, I think. Might have been my mistake, though. Oh, I guess he has a phase 2. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you, Lion Sun, for the subscription. There's a decent chunk of XP there. I find it interesting that they let you loot a Spark of Omens before 80. I did not complete the actual quest in the Delve. That is humorous. And I do not get the significant chunk. Okay, so we're just going to skip that. Because I messed up. My apologies, y'all. Actually, we'll hit 78 and then go to Ashkahet. Whole leveling run is kind of borked. I don't want to drag it on anymore. seems that my UI is broke again, so let's go ahead and reload. There we go. Okay. What's everyone up to tonight, chat? If I had to guess, I'm probably some side monitor entertainment. So, what's going on in those main monitors? You guys getting some prime gaming in. Trying to do Affliction Mage Tower. You have fun with that. That sounds awful. know it took me at least an hour to do the Unholy DK one. That was not fun. Curse of exhaustion all day, every day. Luis Paulino, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it, man. I hope I was somewhat helpful to you as you're starting your journey in WoW. Those damn lesser flames. Seeing these things all over. Chad, I am so tired. I just tried to grab my earbuds as my mouse. We love it. Another fractured spark of omens. Interesting. And a level 80 piece of gear. That's interesting. So on your alts, what I'm picking up from this chat, this is pretty big actually. You can get max level gear before max level if you are on your alts doing adventure mode. It's a really handy way to kind of pre-gear. Once again, I forget that I can mount. We got a kitty cat. Let's see. So this is all just daily content. There's a ton of dailies. And that is Ashka hat. The sword is mightier. And I definitely think I did some of the max level side quests, so probably not a great run if you're trying to follow along for main character, but for alts, I mean, there's way more to do in each of the zones. This robot just gave me tetanus? That's crazy. That is interesting. I don't think I've done any of the skywriting races in Warwithin, so we're gonna go do one for some XP real quick. What do you guys think about the whole race system in Dragonflight? Do you think it complements the system well, or is it just kind of an inconvenience? Well, obviously I am not very great at it. I'll take silver. Oh no, I got gold. Hell yeah. With that, chat, I think we're just gonna move. Where is that? I don't want to go to Ringing Deeps. I think we're just gonna move right back into Ashkahet. Seems like the logical thing to do. So we're about to ding 78. That's about where we want to be. I like dragon riding overall. It and the races were great additions. I completely agree. I have no idea when you sent that. I apologize. Losing my edge, chat. Yeah, the transitions into the new zones are just beautiful. Could do with a little less Play-Doh ceiling, but besides that, it's not bad. I think based on how the leveling is going now, I'm pretty much not going to have a choice but to start replacing my gear. I really wanted to try to keep it going the whole way, but the gear levels are just becoming too good to ignore, I think. If I had a chest piece, do I have a chest piece? I do. Yeah, I think we've just gotta start throwing it on. Well, that's a cloth piece, so maybe we don't just throw things on wildly. Yeah, broke our force set unfortunately, but you know, we're starting to get better gear. It's kind of what we gotta do. Originally in one of the earlier beta builds, the quest didn't stop dropping 520, 530 gear until about 79. So now that they've moved that up, obviously gonna have to start replacing that gear a bit earlier, which kind of sucks because I did make a whole video about gearing and it feels slightly invalidated by this, but you know, people can prep how they want. $78. 2 more levels to go, chat. Oh, got a nice formula. Man, if I forget one more time that this is an option. I'm missing a quest up here, interestingly enough. Yo, what up, D Roshi? How you doing tonight? Sorry I was gone for a while. No while, man. You were raiding, I get it. Come and go as you please. We are just chilling. Had to lock in for Cho'Gall and Sinestra. I get that. Hope that went well for you. Good, man. That's good. I'm happy. Hope you're looking forward to War Within. Got anything specific that you're really waiting to lock in on? I really want to know if the new dwarf race is worth using. I don't know. Their ingest minerals passive is kind of weird. First glance, I would say no. I don't think they're anything special. But I'm also not a purveyor of all things races, so maybe somebody found a niche use for them already. Pidge. I think the Heronir is such a cool new race. They just have a human hunter, and now after the human nerf, I wanted to change race. I wouldn't really call it a human nerf. I mean, with the changes to Warband, I feel like they didn't really have a choice. Otherwise, everybody was just going to play human. I feel like if you're looking for a good hunter race, maybe you want to do the original dwarves, or maybe something like Worgen because of the increased crit. OG dwarf, yeah, no, OG dwarf would probably be a good choice. Yeah, no, they got some cool animations too on the Worgen. Definitely would recommend that if you're not opposed to it. Give me a second, chat. I've gotta swap some eyewear here. Contacts are bugging the hell out of me. There we go. You don't realize how long you have your contacts in until you look at the time and realize it's been over 18 hours. Gonna go ahead and guess that little altercation they just had was not a pleasant reunion. What's the meta? I cannot answer that question because obviously tuning and class changes are still going on every week, so it's probably not anything defined yet. Currently the meta is play whatever you would like. That is my general recommendation. Meta will probably be established in the first couple weeks of the season, but until then, yeah, pick a class that you enjoy the rotation and playstyle of and get good at it. That's the personal meta. How is DK feeling after the nerfs? I don't think it's too bad still. I think the nerfs might have got blown out of proportion by a few people. It still generally feels fine. Before the nerfs, DK felt really, really strong and really good going into the expansion. Now I would say they feel about on par with everybody else. I think people are just mad we're not going into it super strong. I think we feel really good still. Oh, interesting. Should probably clean up some of this. Ooh, freaky spider mount. Goddamn. Oh, look at this. Okay. So can you swap this at any point? don't think I can currently, at least. Got ourselves some rings. Help. Which explanation? I'm gonna assume that means expansion. Which expansion would you compare this one to? It's a good question. If I had to compare this one, it would probably be pretty close to Mists of Pandaria. Probably from a gameplay and a lore perspective. It feels like there is a flood of open world stuff to do. They nailed the mysterious world quota. And it feels like they're kind of experimenting, doing something unique with it. So I think it hits the margin. I think Mists of Pandaria would probably be the one that I would put it up there with. Any legendary weapons in War Within? Not that I am aware of. I don't know if data mining or anything has revealed any, but I have not seen any. Need chunks of something. Is it on the wall, maybe? Oh, there you go. I see it. Well, you wrap them in a cocoon and it freezes their animation. Nice. This is definitely my slowest run so far. Looking at, yeah, 8 hours. But I've been doing a lot of interacting with chat and stopping to talk, so I'm not too worried about it. Have you played Demon Hunter for an expansion? I have not played one for a full expansion, but I have tried one for a season. I think they're really fun, but the hypermobility kind of gets to me sometimes. So I like to stick with my wheelchair DK. They are chewing on Nerubian corpses, I think. That is kind of gross. Kind of picking up the pace on these later levels, though. Only about 30 minutes into this one. If anybody's going to be hanging around for my War Within launch stream, it's going to start at about 5:30 on early access launch day, so about half hour before it goes live. Communications probably won't happen too much during the actual leveling process. Obviously, if it's buggy or laggy or we can't do anything, I'll interact with you guys a lot, but I am trying to kind of speed through the first character, so obviously if we get a really good pace, then the stream might be a kind of vibe music session for 3 to 4 hours. But once I hit 80 and we start farming out other things, you know, we'll go full into the hanging out. I don't know how long the stream is going to go for the War Within launch. All I'm going to say is it's not going to be short. Probably minimum 6 hours. Maximum, I haven't decided yet. It'll be a while. So I hope I got some of you in here planning on gaming for that. It's that Roke here guy. Cynic, what's up, man? I was wondering when you were gonna peek your head in here. I figured I launched a little too late for you. Ugh. Just woke up. Yeah, fair enough. It's cozy. It's almost midnight over here, so kind of winding down. But we are close to our magical 70 mark. Or 80. See, I can't even count anymore. Grinded characters until I literally passed out. That's some dedication, man. I was just going over kind of how our War Within launch stream is going to go. It's going to be long. First little bit's going to be pretty quiet as I try and speed through the leveling, and then once I hit 80, I'm going to kind of open it up and be a lot more interactive. Priest has a few levels to go, then Mage and Monk, and I can focus on getting folks talented in gear. There you go. We were actually talking a little bit ago, something I discovered on the beta is that the gear got a big bump. I'm 78 now, and I'm replacing most of my gear. before, your Season 4 gear could take you all the way to 80, but it seems like they bumped it pretty high to the point where around 76, 77, you can really start considering replacing that gear. I would say probably at 76, you are safe to snap your tier set. What does little Thimble want here? I'm gonna follow Thimble around. It's usually about the level you'd be replacing stuff in most X packs. Yeah, no, I was kind of surprised when I did my last leveling run and I saw that I could keep my stuff until max level. So I think it kind of made sense that that tuning pass came in and kind of pushed that threshold a little bit. I think to them it's probably important that nothing is really relevant by the time you hit the new max level. Otherwise you encounter some probably questionable tuning. All that for some KJ Thimble. Yeah, it sounded like they were almost letting Season 4 gear be heirlooms for the War Within. It kind of felt that way, and you know, in the case of the Legendary, it could probably still be like that, because in terms of raw damage, I don't think there's a weapon until probably Heroic Dungeons that can outdamage it. But yeah, we're about to hit 79. We're about to be in this last level, final countdown stuff. And then I can say that I have fulfilled my final beta leveling stream. Might do some more overview stuff before the expansion launches, but as far as leveling, this is going to be my final stream. So you guys are probably like, what do you mean you've only done one stream? But I did do a couple when I was over on Twitch, so... The War Within alpha and beta cycle has been extremely enjoyable. Telling you, man, Grief Torch though, you can take that all the way to 80 regardless of item level. It just does crazy damage. There we go, 79. One more level. I watched a decent amount of videos while leveling, but I still need to look at all the new spec stuff, mastery or whatever it's called. Oh yeah, the hero talent stuff. Oh man. Well, I will tell you, little spoiler alert here for anybody that's looking forward to some content. I have a massive hero talents video coming out in about a week. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop for all things hero talents, be on the lookout for that video next week. It's going to be a very long one. Whole preface of the video, be straight up. It's not so much geared towards endgame. It's a breakdown for every single spec, what the best hero talent is while leveling, and what path you should take. I broke it down for every spec in the game and every level. So you can imagine just how long of a video we're looking at. Oh yeah, there you go, man. I spent quite a few days in class discords talking with a lot of the top parsers and analysts trying to get all the information that I needed. All that's left for me now really is to put the script together and put all the data and some nice editing. It's probably going to be a bit. It's partially the reason why my next video that's coming out tomorrow is kind of small. Just when you watch tomorrow's video, please take it with the preface that there are much bigger videos coming. Not every video needs to be a mad season essay, so you're good. Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. Plus, I like mixing it up for you guys. You know, I feel like I've experimented a lot with the kind of long, short, and mid terms of content. The Hero Talents video, and I have another video that I'm not going to spoil. They're kind of my experimentation on essay length. They're extremely long, 30, 45 minutes a piece, and they're really going to kind of push my viewers' attention span, I think. But if you follow through from start to finish, you're going to walk away with an insane amount of information. Always love the long form stuff, but I'm a boomer in terms of internet users by today's standard at my elder age of 33. You are not an elder at 33. If you're an elder at 33, then I'm going to become an elder soon, and yeah, let's not go down that road. The way you'd think based on the children's. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Been considering if I should dive into some shorts content, but I mean, I feel like the videos I've been making, they have to be enjoyed in their entirety, so the thought of breaking them up into these like 45 to 60 second segments, it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it would really fit well for the type of videos I'm going after, if that makes sense. Shorts are definitely the way to go for algorithm, but yeah, it'd be hard to decide what constitutes a worthy clip. Yeah, especially since I kind of tend to ramble. I would have to condense a lot of it, and it would probably sound pretty gross by the time it got to a respectable length. Plus, I've been told that my rambles can actually give context that I didn't mean for it to give, so it's not something I want to take away necessarily. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm always open to ideas. If anybody ever comes to me with content ideas, or if somebody drops a comment with it, I'm always ears. At the end of the day, I'm just doing this to have some fun. Well, this is a fun quest. If you can at all costs, I would avoid this quest while leveling, because it takes an extremely long time. In both of my leveling runs, I have somehow stuck myself with doing it. I don't know how. I don't know how I keep getting myself here. But yeah, if you can avoid it at all costs, don't do this quest. It takes way too long for a very measly reward. But once I have started it, I cannot stop it because ADHD things. Come on. Caesar Carranza. How you doing? Hope you are having a good night so far. To anybody who might be in here gaming and wants to interact with our content a little bit more, I do have a Discord. So if you want to hop in there, that would be pretty awesome. Not sure if you follow lore at all, but is the name Koresh for the Ethereal's homeworld a new thing, or has that been established for a while? That has been established for a while, and fair warning, I know way too much about the lore about this game. If you start a lore discussion, you might not be able to shut me up for hours, so do so at your own risk. Sounds like the name of my priest, Koresh, the psycho from Waco. Yeah, no, I'm a pretty big lore nut though. Kind of like when they mentioned the Void Lord Dimensius, and I kind of shrieked a little bit at that name because that is where some very cool shit happens. I always forget where the next quest is. I think this is one of those level lock quests that I was trying to tell you guys about. So because I'm not 80, I don't think I can finish. The Void stuff is some of my favorite in all of WoW, so getting to go to the Rift without a Void Elf was cool. Can't really remember going there outside of my Void Elf. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the first time that non-Void Elves have been able to venture in there, so that was actually pretty cool. Some quests that you can do here. I have been lied to. Ooh. I do not know if I was supposed to kill these guys, but they are now dead, so yeah. I feel like I'm maybe supposed to be, I don't know why that quest isn't there. Does it give you any indication that it's because you're not 80? No, not really. That's why it's kind of confusing. There's not really indications for a lot of things. Like, you see, it keeps telling me that there's quests here, but they are not here. So it's actually kind of annoying more than anything. I would rather it just tell me, hey, you're not 80, scram. But, you know, the game's not nice enough to do that. That's almost more annoying than phasing issues, right? Tell you what though, you guys are getting some exclusive late night content. I think the only other time that I would consider a late night stream like this is, well, actually you're gonna see another one fairly soon for the War Within. Not usually a late night streamer, but I really wanted to get this done before I pumped out some new videos. Make sure you guys get that 70 to 80 leveling experience like I promised you, even though this was hella scuffed and my route was not at all applied really. Regardless though, I hope you guys maybe saw something that catched your eye and might help you while leveling. I think the guide that I released is probably a better source than this mess of a VOD. So, yeah. Very cool little engineering mount. It's engineering or blacksmithing, I don't remember. But if you're into mechs, you got some cool ones. My very flimsy goal right now is to get geared, learn the current raid, and get AOTC before they remove it. My friend, AOTC is extremely easy. However, I do have some very heartbreaking news for you. While the AOTC rewards may still be available, the actual achievement itself is not anymore. That was removed at the end of Season 3. So you can still obtain the rewards from Ahead of the Curve, Cutting Edge, and Mythic Plus Keystone Master, but the achievements themselves, unfortunately, are already gone. Well, the rewards are all I care about. There you go then. You are good to go still. I want that mount for the Druid form. If you're talking about the Fire Owl, that takes Mythic Farok, not Heroic. So you would probably have to encroach somewhere upon max item level for a chance at that one. You also would need a group of 20 competent people if you wanted to attempt that. But by all means, if you can get it, man, go for it. Never mind on that one. I cannot believe that they brought the Nifim back. I did not dislike the Nifim, but I am surprised that they were apparently liked enough to bring them back. Supposed to. Ooh, little mole dudes. Yep, that be them. Forgot that we actually do not want to kill these little buggers. We want to just use an item on them. Were they from that cavern zone that got added in 10.1? Yeah, they were from the Zarlet cavern. They were kind of like the main faction there. They were cool little dudes. will fully admit I did not mean to stream this long tonight. So here's hoping that we can wrap this up shortly. That was essential. I thought it was finally cool to see the concept of an underground zone. That was essentially what the implementation was supposed to be. Yeah, Zarlek Cavern was kind of the first step to what we have now in War Within with the fully underground zones. I think their idea with Zarlek Cavern was kind of a final confirmation that that tech would work properly, so that they could full send it in the War Within. Because a good 80% of the expansion takes place underground, right? So if Zarlek Cavern didn't work out from a technological standpoint, the War Within would have very different zones. So I'm kind of glad that it worked out, because now we have these huge layered zones that are all just stacked on top of each other. And it creates just such a massive landscape that we would have missed out on if we didn't have Zarlek Cavern first. Little small things like that people don't really think about. Yeah, it definitely seemed like a good way to playtest without it being an obvious playtest. Yeah, definitely. Being able to do everything on your mount just feels like cheating, honestly. Being able to traverse these quests a lot quicker without the awkward up and down flying on your mount. How you doing tonight, though, Cynic, and anybody else in the chat? Kind of approaching the final little segment here, so see how everybody's doing one last time. Looking forward to messing around with specs later today. There you go. I think that this quest is bugged because there is a world quest on top of the quest and they both have the same objective. Which, if I'm detecting this correctly, it seems to be fucking with it. Try a different pile here. Nah, alright, so we're just gonna have to move on, unfortunately. Do world quests become active for alts below 80? Yes, so once you complete the campaign for the first time, all of your alts will have access to world quests from the second they step into the world. Private spindle. Kill 12 of these fuckers real quick. I can do that. Are you gonna mess around with any dungeons once you cap? Probably not tonight. I was thinking maybe you can give me some feedback on this. If I had time to squeeze in an extra video, I might do kind of a dungeon overview for War Within. It would just be on normal difficulty, kind of run through the 8 dungeons in a quick little video, and kind of run over all the major mechanics for all the bosses. I don't know how attractive of a video that would be. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there already. But that's really the only thing I can think of with dungeons. That'd be awesome just to get an idea of the bosses. Okay, yeah, I could probably add that onto my list then. I honestly didn't know if that would be something people would want, because this late in the beta, I just kind of assume everybody has seen it already. Yeah, no, I mean, if that's something people would like to see, then I can make that. Putting your own spin on it is worthwhile. Some people aren't going to approach the topic the same way, so I feel like your own take would be valid for ideas like that. That's fair. I think sometimes I kind of battle with the idea that a lot of people make content for WoW, and everybody's trying to make content for the same thing. And sometimes the only thing that can set you apart is how unique you talk about it is. For most people, I'd say we watch the person first and foremost, and then we watch the content. That's pretty wise words. I would definitely agree from a viewer standpoint. It's cloth. I keep putting on the wrong armor type. If I really needed an analytical Mythic Plus guide, I'd definitely take a peek at one of those method style guides, but I like being entertained above all else, and I learn better that way. That's fair, actually. I can kind of get that. I feel like for some of those bigger guides, they get a little bit too into it. I mean, obviously that's their job, right? They're there to teach you the best way to do the dungeon, but I kind of lose them halfway through on most occasions just because either I don't understand the terminology or they're just speaking way above my pay grade. It's good stuff, but feels too dry. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of like if I'm stuck in a corner and I don't know what to do, then I'll go to one of those rough, gritty guides, but other than that, I'd rather watch a creator I enjoy talk about it. Like I asked my history teacher to teach me. Wow. Apologies. Yeah, if there's a specific mechanic that doesn't make sense to you or the rest of the group, for sure. I did that a couple times in Shadowlands specifically. Yeah, I remember having to do that for Spires of Ascension a few times. I hated that place with a kind of burning passion. Is there any Cthulhu-themed dungeon in this? Cthulhu-themed. See kind of where you're getting at. Not really? Yeah, you're thinking of Siege of Borealis with the giant tentacle monster at the end. I guess there's this guy. That's kind of the closest you're gonna get. You can. It's just a void monstrosity at the end of Darkflame Cleft. I think that's maybe the closest you're getting to like Cthulhu-like though. Well, what's ironic about you referencing Siege of Borealis, though, is that Season 1 of War Within has Siege of Borealis with Vic Goth in it. So the boss you are referencing, you will be fighting them again in Season 1. Yeah, right. The specific one, I keep forgetting I'm literally sitting on the WoW so I can check these things. Shrine of the Storms. Which one is in Shrine of the Storms? Oh, okay. You meant like Old God Monstrosity. Got it. Yeah, no, those got a little bit complicated. Siege of Borealis is actually one of my favorites for BFA. Whew! That is a hot take, my friend. I am not sure I know anybody who can, with a straight face, tell me they liked that place. I definitely wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I saw that they did some changes of it for Mythic Plus this season, so I'm cautiously optimistic that it won't be too bad. Watch people fall in the water, yeah. Well, we got some interesting ones coming back in Season 1. What do we got? We've got Necrotic Wake. We've got a Shadowlands dungeon coming back. We have two of them, actually. We have Mist of Tyrna Scythe also. And we have Grim Batol from Cataclysm coming back as well. So there's some cool ones coming back. Erudak's got a new model, and he looks insane. They updated his model, and he is just one of the coolest looking bosses now. think I'm weird and liked all the dungeons people hated. I mean, sometimes you just have those dungeons that really click with you when you do them. Underbog. I can't say I have much experience with that one. I'm a Wrath baby. Underrot. Yeah, that one's not bad actually. That I really enjoyed doing Underrot and Dragonflight. It was one of the easiest keys. Everyone in my guild hated it, but it had the most important weapon by a mile until 8.3. Yeah, no, I think I felt a similar way with Gatuku from King's Rest. We were in there trying to farm that bleed weapon for what felt like forever. Yeah, if you were a Fury Warrior and you got 2 of those from your weekly chest, you were living on Easy Street. Innard sack filled, huh? Gonna take it that this is as easy as just killing everything. Yep, apparently so. All procs were crazy back then. Yeah, no. I still remember some of the most fun I ever had in the game was with Corruptions and BFA. For an expansion that started out pretty damn terribly, I had the most fun at the end of that expansion. Nothing like stacking Twilight Debs and just straight up feeling like you're playing on a private server. I remember going into heroic raids with nothing but a group full of Twilight devs and absolutely nuking bosses like we were GMs. Encroaching on the final few quests here, Cynic. I'm almost done. I honestly feel like they could bring corruption back, but if they did those kinds of effects with gems and the way they could do them in Mop Remix, wasn't physically tied to it and you can't change it, it'd be much better. That's true. I would love to see them do something similar like in the remix game mode. Because I'm assuming they're going to bring Remix back for different expansions. I can't imagine with how successful it was, they're just going to abandon the idea now. I would personally love to see them bring back Draenor or Wrath of the Lich King. They could even something more modern like Legion or BFA. I would love to see them feed off of the profit of Remix and not just let it die. I definitely don't want corruption back for endgame, but leveling like that would be so fun. Oh, I completely agree. Completely agree, my friend. Acquire 50 stacks of unseeming shift. Trying to remember exactly how you do that. I would definitely play a Legion of BFA remix. Not sure if I'd really mess with WoD much. Still can't stand that expansion. If we could Dragon Ride, I'd go back in a heartbeat, though. I think the reason I want WoD is because I know that they would use remix as an opportunity to prove that that expansion was not bad. I feel like they would add in a lot of the scrapped content. We would see some revitalization of the systems. If they brought WoD back for remix, I guarantee that it would be in a state where people would change their mind about the expansion. I do not think they would bring it back as is. If that happened, then absolutely would love it. Yeah. I am fighting an endgame mob here. I did not even realize it. It's funny. Yeah, dang, this thing takes a while to kill. It's always crazy at the start of an expansion how much weaker you feel. I'm fighting Remembered King Gordok for the 200th time. Yeah. Can't deny how fast the leveling is. Looking at it as I'm saving $60 every time I cap. That is true. That is directly what you were doing. Rares dropping 574 adventure a year. That's really nice. Oh no, I don't want to fight another one. No, leave me alone. Yeah, any character boost that I've ever gotten have been through like expansion promotions or something. Never catch me paying $60 for something I could do with a days of hard work. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the harmonizer. No! This quest is only slightly annoying, I promise. You've got to hit these little red baubles to gain 50 stacks. And then the NPCs will start appearing. Yeah, and how many of those characters have you played? None. That's pretty much the point I'm getting at. One. I think it's funny. Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional, but I could just mount up in combat on any of my mounts and just leave. If my calculations are correct, this is the grand finale, my friends. I do apologize that it took so long. We took a leisurely pace, focused more on connecting, and, you know, I wanted to get to know my chat a little better, and I'm happy that I took that route, no matter how long it took. I am more than happy to say that this run is over, though. It's been a great journey. There's the ding. We are level 80, my friends. And that is a final 70 to 80 beta run. Took a lot longer than expected, but we got to see some alternative ways to level. Consider it more so an alt guide, if anything, because I had access to more side chains. I had access to World Quest, the extra Delve XP. There were so many things I had unlocked because I have one character unlocked already with everything. So, if anything, maybe view this as maybe a way to gear your alts, level your alts. You have access to way more side content here than you will on launch day. So, my guide on my YouTube channel, that handy little 4 or 5 minute one, that is for main character. No additional world quests or side content unlocked. That is just main character leveling guide. After the War Within launches and we have all the information available to us, I will be making an alt leveling guide. I will make sure that you have by far the fastest way to level your characters, and I will have that out sometime after Season 1 starts. But that will come after the now 6 videos that I have planned for you guys. Over the next month, there's going to be a shitload of content coming your guys' way, and I cannot wait to share all of it. In the meantime, though, it is midnight. I am extremely tired. Thank you all for joining and watching. It means so much to me. I don't know when the next time I'll be on stream is. If it's not in the next week, then I will see you guys for the early access stream. We're going to be streaming for 3 straight days for that. Leveling, gearing, we're going to see all of it. I hope to see you guys there. Can't wait for you guys to see the new videos I've got coming. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. And until next time, I'll catch you later.